Okay, let's get stuck in. And joining me now is John Ferguson, Associate Editor of The Australian. He's seen more Victorian politics probably even than I have. That editorial that I started with today, John, and I've written a column about it as well. Can the Premier Jacinta Allen win another term for Labor? My view is probably.
Oh, I think it's quite possible. In fact, if you're putting money on it, Steve, you would put money on Labor at this point. But it's 12 months to go. Labor has so much baggage that it's possible that the new Liberal leader, Jess Wilson, can pick up the 16 seats that she needs. It's a lot, but Steve Bracks did it in 1999, had to stitch together a minority government. But I think it's probably game on. But you and I both know that the Liberal Party in Victoria is brilliant at messing things up. So it's really going to be in their court to convince voters that they can trust them.
Were you surprised, John, that they dumped Brad Batten, given that there was a Herald Sun poll the day before they moved on him that showed he'd actually gotten a lead over Jacinta Allen? He was talking tough on law and order and crime, and we're all sick and tired of that. I just didn't quite work out this theory that he was a one-trick pony and could only talk about home invasions, machete attacks and carjackings. Well, I reckon that's something you should be talking about a lot.
Oh, that was kind of my view as well. I didn't think the crime issue was a problem for him and his critics. Look, this was an internal battle because he messed up. He failed to back some people who had supported him. And so it's just it's an internal war that led to this. I thought that if you were going to change, you'd probably wait until February and see how things are going. And then you might put somebody like Jess Wilson in. But now they've done it. There are early signs that it could work for them. But hey, politics is like journalism. It's hard work, and it's how many phone calls people make. It's how convincing that Jess Wilson can be. It's not just about changing the leader. It's about changing. It's about getting the confidence of the people. And really, to that end, it's in Jess Wilson's. It's up to her. I mean, how good is she? I think she presents well. I think she's got a lot going for her. But one thing I would say, I wouldn't. I mean, she seems to be making a bit of a target of herself already by putting quite a few things out there. I would personally, strategically, be looking at a small target approach. But, I'm not a Liberal strategist, thankfully.
Yeah, well, I wonder who their strategists are because, I mean, she's come out today and talked about knocking off a bunch of taxes, including the vacant house tax and lowering stamp duty for first home buyers, and the emergency services levy gets dumped as well, all popular things. But then you have to ask yourself the question, and she's the one with the economic smarts, not me, not you. How do you then bring the debt down and rescue the budget if you're throwing all that tax revenue out the door?
Well, it feels to me a little bit like a Big Bang approach. The people watching this are around for John Hewson will remember the GST, and tax reform's great. And look, as a parent with still paying school fees, love to get rid of that payroll tax on private schools. Just selfish. I know it's a bit first worldish, but there are a lot of enormous amount of taxes introduced, but she's going to now have to explain how she does this. And critically, she's going to have to fight the Labor machine, which will argue that if she's going to fix debt, she's going to have to absolutely smash the public service. And I think that's problematic for Jess Wilson if that's where they run, because the Labor machine is brutal. Now, what she'll be hoping is that basically Victorians have just got totally sick of the government and it's time that they go. But you and I can't, sitting here 12 months out, can't guess how it's going to go. We'll have a much closer idea, frankly, in about 6 months.
John, could it just be that Victoria's a Labor state? They've had 12 years of Daniel Andrens and now a couple of Jacinta Allen. If she wins, it'll be 16 years. I think I wrote today that aside from the Ted Baillieu 3-4 years in office with Dennis Napthine, that it's been one Liberal coalition government in 27 years. I mean, you could make the argument that Victoria's just a Labor state, and it's always going to be.
Yeah, the one party state thing's a very valid argument. You know, I think what we're witnessing in Victoria is and it's happening elsewhere in Australia, is the increasing urbanisation of the state. It's a small state anyway, but you know, it's increasingly those. You got Melbourne, it's getting massive, and then you've got the big three regional centres. And so those places, you know, it's not the old Victoria; it's a new Victoria. And I think that's where Jess Wilson, I suppose, her opportunity is that she's young, she's 35. There's a huge block of voters in the millennials. The biggest single demographic, 5-year demographic, is I think it's about the 18 to 23 or 4. That's the biggest block of voters in Victoria now. So, you know, there's plenty of opportunity there, but she's going to have to be good. You know, I think that's the reality of it. She's going to have to be good, and they're going to have to be united. If she makes mistakes and the Liberals continue to be bitterly divided, then it's not going to work. It'll be Labor. Labor will win. But you know, if she's good and she can prosecute these potentially complex arguments, well, you never know. Maybe she can pull off a really difficult election win.
Well, just finally, I mean, the Labor machine you talk of is the best in the country. They are just ruthless, and they're driving these policy changes. She's had to be dragged back to change bail laws and talk about even, you know, youth crime, youngsters serving life in jail, which was completely ridiculous. But, I mean, you know, I just get a sense that when we go through next year, I note that youngsters are going to get free public transport across Victoria from next year. I think it's under 16s, so that means school kids. I wouldn't be surprised, and I could be completely wrong, John, but I wouldn't be surprised if she makes an announcement halfway through next year that public transport in Victoria is going to be free. They've taken back control over the fares on public transport. Why wouldn't they do that? They probably will.
Oh, look, they will throw a bucket of cash. And this is the challenge for the coalition. So the Libs and Nats in Victoria, they have to run a really successful campaign. And I personally don't think a campaign of cutting the public service and going really hard at the budget, even though at my heart, I suppose I'm a rationalist and think I can see the reason why you would do that fiscally. But I think she needs to really be the small target. And then when she gets in, I suppose, map out a future. That's strategically what I would do, but let's see. She might be the genius that people are saying. I'm getting inundated with people ringing from across the party, senior people that don't even like me ringing up saying, oh, well, you need to watch this because she's really good. And I don't disbelieve them, but I want to see the evidence.
Well, it was great to catch up with you, John. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you, Steve.